Hi, I'm Jenny, and in today's video I'm going to show you the 7 most important tells to spot a fake Rolex. I'm doing this review today because it has never been so difficult to spot a fake Rolex, especially for those who, let's say, buy for the first time from someone other than an AD, or those people who do not constantly surround themselves with watches. In the past couple of years, the improvements on fake watches have been incredible, and it is almost scary how the newest high-end replicas look like. So that is why I'm going to show you the 7 most important tells how you can spot a fake sub by using an authentic one and comparing it to a $600 high-end replica. By the end of this video, you will be able to tell a fake from an authentic watch, which can literally save you from a $10,000 fake buy. Afterwards, I will tell you which signs are not anymore a safe tell to spot a fake and on which you have to be super careful with. Also including the up until now number 1 tell which fakers finally managed to fix. And a little disclaimer before we get started. Please do not buy fake watches. This watch has been given to me from someone for this review. Watches are about feeling, an accomplishment in your life, and the first person you are lying to when buying a fake watch is yourself. Nevertheless, how small the chances are of someone else noticing it. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's start with my tell number 1, the finishing on the brushed parts. As many of you might know, the finishing on a Rolex is close to perfection. Every brushed or polished surface looks immaculate. The brushing on a Rolex Submariner is extremely fine, and when looking at the fake one, you can tell that they definitely tried to emulate that. And to be honest, they actually did a really good job. The polished flanks of the case are well done, and the links on the bracelet look good too. But the main giveaway here is definitely the brushing on the clasp. You can tell that probably a machine worked the brushing into the clasp by those thin straight lines. Compared to the clasp of an authentic sub, the difference here is definitely visible even without using any magnifying tools. For my tell number 2, we stay right here at the clasp and take a closer look on the crown that sits right on top of it. On the authentic sub, we can see how the little silver crown sits directly on top of the clasp. There are no welding seams or any other signs of how they've attached the crown. But now when looking at the fake sub, you can spot the tiny gap between the crown and the clasp. I guess they were cutting the top part of the clasp from one block and then just lasered the crown out of it with tools that were not as precise as they had to be. To be fair, I had to use a little magnifying glass to spot the difference, but nonetheless, it is definitely a good way to tell these two apart. And if you see any signs of welding on your clasp, chances are this sub might not be authentic. Okay, let's get right into the next tell, and tell number 3 is easy to spot when you actually get to hold the fake sub. Submariner fans all over the world love the glide lock that comes with the Rolex Classic, and those who made the fake would have been stupid to not include a glide lock into their fake watches as well. The glide lock on the authentic watch glides smoothly up and down and is easily adjustable. But now, when you compare the glide lock on the fake, the difference here is huge. Sliding the bracelet up and down feels super scratchy, and you feel like you're actually going to ruin the glide lock when doing it. Besides that though, the overall feeling of the clasp on the fake watch is shockingly good, but the scratchy glide lock is definitely a dead giveaway. From the glide lock, we move right over to the perhaps most important part of the watch, and with tell number 4, we are looking at the dial, so get your glasses out for this one. Some of you might already know that Rolex has changed their lettering and fonts on the sub-dials over the years since the 116/610 LN was released in 2010. So that is not really something I would recommend for trying to spot a fake. And on a little side note, for those who like to dive deeper into those dial variations, I recommend the blog post from Millenary Watches that I will link in the description down below. But we can look at a different part on a dial that has not changed. On the authentic watch, the hour markers, equipped with a super luminova, sit on the dial in a bright white color framed by a thin white gold border. Even though the hour markers on the fake sub are equally as white and light up in the same blue color when it gets dark, the borders are much thicker and likely not made out of solid 18-karat white gold. Also, when holding the two next to each other, you can tell that the thicker silver border also results in sharper looking hour markers overall. By the way, the same goes for the hands. On a real sub, the hands are finished close to perfection. Even with a very strong magnifying glass, you will have a hard time finding any rough edges. But as soon as we zoom in on those replica hands, you will immediately see a big difference and also some rough edges. However, don't try to find those things without using any magnifying tools. For my next tell number 5, we are going to stay on the dial a little while longer and take a look at the inside chapter ring or rehaut. And sorry for probably completely mispronouncing that one. On the authentic watch, the letters on the ring are perfectly aligned with the minute and hour markers on the dial. And with perfectly, I really mean dead on in the center. Look how from 12 to 6 o'clock, every index is aligned with the X of the Rolex. And from 6 to 12 o'clock, every index is perfectly aligned with the R. So now when switching over to the ring on the fake watch, you can see that they definitely tried to place the letters at the correct spot, but they were not 100% successful on each letter. Sometimes an L or an R are a bit misplaced, something that would never happen with Rolex. This is also one of my favorite tells because you do not really need any tools or magnifying glasses to be able to see that the letters do not line up with the minute and hour markers. Okay, so tell number 6 might be one of the strongest tells in my opinion, and I'm honestly surprised that they've kept it in there. For many, the 116.610 LN is simply the better sub because of the date display compared to the 114.060 sub no date. So when going for the sub date version, you expect the date display to be perfectly finished. A bright white date disc with sharp black numbers on it to let you know what date it is. And that is exactly what you get with the authentic one. But when spinning through the dates on the fake sub, you'd think they printed the numbers on a Friday afternoon by the look of it. The black color is not as opaque and you can clearly see tiny specks of black paint around the numbers. Especially on the 29th, the difference is really outstanding. So even if they did a great job with the cycle blends and the proportions, the printing is definitely off and a good tell to spot a fake. Last but not least, with tell number 7, we are not looking at something, but we're going to feel it. The caliber that sits within the iconic sub case is equally as iconic to most people, is known for its accuracy and robustness, and winding the watch as well as setting the date feels smooth and satisfying. But oh my god, screwing out the crown on the fake sub feels like stainless crunching within the gear wheels of the movement. Additionally, when you get to the point where the crown pops out and locks into the position to adjust the date, it does not do so with the light little click you would expect. Oh no, it pops out with such a force that for a second I thought I had wrecked the stem when unscrewing it for the first time. So definitely check for that when you're not sure about the authenticity of a watch. Okay, so those were my 7 tells which help you to spot a fake Rolex. To complete this list, I also want to quickly address the characteristics on an authentic Rolex some people believe are a 100% safe way to tell a fake from an authentic watch. And this is where it gets the most dangerous. First of all, some believe that the little crown that has been lasered into the crystal is not to be found on fake watches, which is wrong unfortunately. As you can see here, fakes do have the same little crown engraved, and as far as I know, they have been doing that for quite some time. Secondly, you have those who say that you need to look out for the serial number on the chapter ring. As long as there's a number, it's an authentic watch. And again, that's wrong. The inscription on the fake watch sits there complete with the serial number and all, so that's definitely not a reliable source. And thirdly, we have the just shake the watch and if you hear it rattle, it's definitely a fake people. And you might have guessed it, but that's not the case either. Shaking both the fake and authentic watch sounds exactly the same, so do not waste your time hurling around your watch in order to check whether it's fake or not. But the biggest change on this newest high-end replica is a part which fakers never managed to only come close to up until now. For pretty much every fake watch, the markers on the bezel were not platinized like they are on an authentic watch, but instead painted on. Something you would be able to spot almost right away, as you can see in this fake Rolex footage from some years ago. However, this is the first fake Rolex that really uses the same, what looks like platinizing technique for the bezel, which makes the numbers look super sharp and precise and also takes away one of the simplest tells of a fake Rolex. Alright, so now you know everything you need to know about the newest fake Rolex Submariner and how you can prevent yourself from spending around $10,000 on a fake watch. But what are your experiences with fake watches? Did anyone ever try selling one to you? Let me know in the comments down below and I will see you in my next video. Bye.